I want to quickly talk about this phenomenon and what is happening to the internet searches. This is the original John Titor website, and I was reading this site way back in the day. Now the John Titor story has become a mass entertainment, and the top searches that come up are the mass media. And it used to be that the original site would come up, well, I mean, you would imagine, wouldn't you, because it's John Titor Times. But no. You have to go to johntitor.com if you want to find this site now, which is kind of strange if it's a funny story, right? If it's not real, why would you want to hide it? This is May 21st, 2018. US patent filed for John Titor's time machine, and it tells you the patent application was filed for a method of gravity distortion and time displacement. The filing data is listed October 1st, 2004. The application includes the identical images posted by John Titor online, as well as the time travel theory he discussed. So, now, of course, a lot of people say that the John Titor Civil War and changes, well, they didn't take place in that timeline they didn't take place at that time on this timeline, and so then people have discounted it. But you can find posts about the Civil War and make up your own mind on johntitor.com, Civil War. What are your memories of 2036? I remember 2036 very clearly. It is difficult to describe 2036 in detail without spending a great deal of time explaining why things are so different. In 2036 I lived in Central Florida with my family, and I'm currently stationed at an army base in Tampa. So he's in his timeline a world war in 2015 killed nearly 3 billion people. But of course, don't be fooled by, it's just some stupid story made up by someone. And patents, I don't know, patents are not real, are they? It's not part of our physical reality. This is also just a funny story, isn't it? Anyway, it's interesting to look at things and use your mind in different ways and not be caught in this linear rational reality, because in a way time travel is consciousness, isn't it? It's the mind. He goes on to say there is no large industrial complex creating masses of useless food and recreational items. That was in his timeline after the 2015 disaster. Food and livestock is grown and sold locally. People spend much more time reading and talking together face to face. There is a civil war in the United States that started in 2005. That conflict flares up and down for 10 years. But you know, if you're dealing with timelines, they're all variations of a similar theme. And this is why I want to say something that is very important, that I've been aware of for many years. And that is that how do I say this? This timeline that we're on, that we should be grateful. The first thing is that a war has not broken out, and this timeline has a potential to alter itself in a peaceful way without killing billions of people. Now, our world is facing disasters that are going to come without any of us fighting. In fact, fighting with what's coming in the next 100 years, fighting is not going to be seen as a realistic option, because the world is going to have to work together. They're going to have to cooperate, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you live, or what your political ideology is. The political ideology, in peaceful times you can play around with it, can't you? All your ideas and your philosophies. And you can afford to be intolerant when there's wealth, when you have wealth, right? You can afford. But when you have to work together, intolerance has to end. I'm trying to get the mountains. Might not be able to do it. Intolerance has to end, because then you're going to have to listen to each other and respect each other and say, okay, that's interesting, and yes, and listen, because there's much, much, much more important, much more dangerous series of events are going to unfold, and it's not just going to be 2 weeks or 1 month. It's begun now with Hawaii, the eruption of and the fracturing of Kilauea in Hawaii, and I would say there will be a continuation of events, maybe not cataclysmic, but yeah, 100, 200, 300 years, just as it was in the past. In the past, it's no longer documented because the texts have all been hidden away somewhere.